ready? Testing 1 2 1 2. The mothership has landed. All aboard. We're about to blitz off into the Venus Lounge. Do I have to do it? Oh, here we go. Join me. What's up, y'all? Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm vibing real quick. It's the Venus Lounge. Welcome to the #1 podcast in the galaxy, dedicated to working mothers and women, trying to centralize ourselves in our creativity and our autonomy, having so many responsibilities. I am your host, Renee Moncada-McElroy, here in Oakland, California. I'd like to welcome my team, my co-pilots on deck, Miko Tolliver, social media manager and production manager for the Venus Lounge and KPFA, my PA, ride or die, co-pilot, Jess Hutchison. Thank y'all for joining me. And I'm a Virgo, born in the year of the goat. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of goats, I'd like to welcome Leilani Lei to the show. Pew, 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 pew. Co-host of the Filipino Momcast, right, and Good Humaning.
Founder of Good Humaning.
Yes, founder of Good Humaning. What is Good Humaning?
Consulting. The word agency is just used so lightly now.
Yes,
but creative consultants that really back up and formulate social impact stories.
Mm-hmm.
So through film and photography, but anything that has to do with social impact and a story. If you got ideas, we will turn them into a real life message. And so I'm very intentional that if it is not uplifting culture, community, women, a good cause, diversity, equity, and inclusion, I don't want it.
You don't have nothing to do with it.
I don't got anything to do with it.
I think that's where it's at right now. So what are some of the things that you get behind? What are some of the projects, and what are some of the things that you look for to determine if you fool with it or not?
That's a nice word. Fool with it. That's a good question. Really, I look for the heart of people. That's what it is. It's like, I'm not necessarily looking, but because we're Virgos, we can feel the room, right?
Yes.
We can feel. And so I think that I can see everything before at the same time that I'm feeling. And so
right.
when I see a mover and a shaker that is moving with their heart, whether it's an organization, an individual, or somebody that I just cross paths with, then in the right taste, right time, and the right place, I'm gonna holler, I'm gonna talk, and not necessarily pick the brain, but I think honor is necessary. Honor up, honor down, honor all around.
Right.
And so, as I've been establishing what this looks like, I just, at the end of the day, I'm just myself. And so if I attract it, we'll make a connection. But at first I started with doing things that I love, being in the music space, but I love
photography too. That's how I know you. You're a phenomenal photographer.
Thank you. And that's what I'm doing.
And storyteller.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, in these spaces, it all started with photography, and I cannot lie. Like, I have been doing it as a hobbyist, but you put me on from like as far as like anyone who's a legend in the game. You're the one who put me on. You put me on with Tony. That was my first with someone who was in an actual like a homie of mine doing music.
Right.
So that from there on, I just kind of skyrocketed and started doing more and more and more. However, I like people more than I like to taint the spaces I work in.
Right.
And so I like the cause and the heart more than just photography alone.
But
So
you were put on before because I remember coming across your social media page. I think it was Love Mom was another one,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how I came across, but you dedicated a series of photos to women in their natural environment, but looking hella fine. So like if you were, I don't know, a librarian, or if you were an account executive, or if you were, a lawyer, you would be in your space, but then looking fly. I just thought that was such a dope concept.
And I'm still running with that. So that was called the Love You Project, and it was being able to show women who are always, or who are the women that say, I don't know how to pose, I'm not comfortable, but showing them their themselves, aside from the trauma and all the storytelling. It really ended up being like, you can ask anyone I shot. It's like a 1 hour healing session, and then being able to show them, because I don't like pose photography. I choose to capture community engagement or like people's natural
Right,
emotions.
natural, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And-
Posed is so funny.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
that's why a lot of times I don't take photos of myself because
Well, this is why I'm running the Love You Project Part 2.
Okay, well,
So,
what's up?
yeah.
Holla back. Like, what's up?
So that part, and then
Yeah.
I'm doing the Love Us Project next. So
Which is Love Us. What's that?
capturing couples in their natural element.
Oh, I
So whether
love
it is that like you and your significant other are cooking, reading, whatever it is that you love about, the dynamic of loving us,
Can you take pictures of me and my husband?
I
We
want.
we love to do. We love to we love to like cruise. We go and get in the car and we just drive and we listen to music and we just talk.
I'm
So
ready.
that'd be-
Yeah, throw me in the back seat and I'll capture that
I'll
dynamic.
make that happen. Okay, so can I get back to the Good Humaning Project? Because earlier we were talking about how just as an entrepreneur or creative, you've got your main hustle, your bread and butter, your everyday job that you're doing, and then you have the hustle that's funding, the hustle. You know what I mean? Did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did I say that right? Wait a minute. It's the hustle. Let me see. Okay, no, what I meant to say is you have your everyday job that's paying your bills, right? And that job is also paying for the hustle, your passion. And so what can you do to generate funding or income for that dream job or that hustle or that passion that you're doing? That has to be socially conscious, right? Is that what you
That's
said?
correct. That's
so right. So what is that? Can you talk about that aspect? Did I lose you in the question?
Not
Okay.
really. No,
Okay.
I will say this though, because I think from when we last saw each other, I did have a corporate 9 to 5, and I've been working. I'm from the Skrillacon Valley, and so I've been working corporate on the back end as a.
You said Skrillacon?
That's right. Right. They put me on game.
This is new to me.
Yeah,
Skrillacon.
The Skrillacon Valley, made 6 figures in data working for the head honchos like Google and eBay. And when we last spoke, I was working for eBay, but I'm doing Good Humaning full time. And so what does it take? A lot of grants, the right community, also financial management, being able to allocate the funds from the 9 to 5 corporate job and like setting yourself up for X amount of months. And
so what's the process? I'm a creative person. I have a great idea that will have social impact. It's also something very creative. What do I do? How do I what's the first step?
To work with
like to pitch to you. Okay. Pretend like hi, my name is Renee. I have an organization that I like to get off the ground. I have baby goats, and I feel like my baby goats can be like farm animals for children and learn how to do farming. How can I get money for that?
Ooh, I love this. So
I just made that up.
So this is the thing is I like to have real conversations. I want to ask, how were you doing it prior to you finding me, right? And
Right.
how did that work for you? And so with my data analyst background, if you want to go deeper diving into your analytics from social media, your website visits, or how your book of business and scaling it, then we can see where, and identify the gaps. But if we don't want to go on that analytical side, then I'm going to pick your brain and ask, like, what's the vision? Where do you want to take this? Do you want to take it within just your city, within school districts? It's really doing the deep dive in the logistics, to where what your vision is.
So you're asking them like short-term goals, long-term goals.
So this is the thing with good humaning. Everybody does. You could call someone on a one-off project, but I like to work quarterly. So because I like to see results. So if we can do something for a minimum of 3 months to meet the goals, and Lord willing, we get to see the fruits of the labor. Because I'm not to say that I won't do one-off projects, but I feel good about helping someone meeting a goal. And like for something for baby goats and kids, why not?
Right,
like
right.
it's a good cause. And what I would do is find out which organizations would take something like this, who'd be open to it. Let's create a pitch deck. Let's reach out to the schools. Let's reach out to, X, Y, and Z organizations. And so what I enjoy doing, as we were talking about earlier, is fund this. Because I'm going to ask you what your budget is.
Right, because that's you.
Yeah. But if it's, say that you're like, I actually would self-fund this, so I don't have a budget for it. But what I would do is...
Oh, no, I'm not self-funding no baby goats.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No. But what I do...
Right. So what would you do? You would find out what the goal is, and then based on the goal, you would create what the budget is?
No, so find out what the goal is, right? Find out which organizations and tech money can pour into something like this.
Right.
And so from there on, I know where all the grants are. I know where all the grants are left and right for, from $5,000 to $300,000 projects. And so I think being able to plug people in with this process, I have a couple of amazing grant writers on deck, for a percentage, but being that liaison to walk them through the process and make sure that these baby goats and kids are, making a move or an impact.
What do you think is missing? I know we talked about social impact, and it had, you talked about some of the requirements that you would like to see in different organizations. Are there any ones that you're specifically looking for, or
like as far as type of clientele
or just I guess being on the other side of being in contact with people who want to provide funding? Are they coming to you saying, we're looking for this?
Actually, no, they're not saying that. So a big goal of mine is working in the tech sector and then transitioning to nonprofit. I know when this funding is available, because I worked on a fundraising side for a large organization. And so every year, especially towards the year end, tech dollars, there's a big tech budget that goes to these type of things, whether it be charity, nonprofits, right? Because they're tax write-offs. And so there's a lot of money at the end of the year that can be signed off to projects and organizations. But what you have to do is, one, you either have to connect with them, or two, like it's all about awareness. So you put this in front of this organization, and it takes a liaison to do all the talking. That's me.
Does it matter the organization? Could it be film, art, farming, agriculture? It could be anything. Because for me, I've applied for so much funding, and it seems like it's always we had so many applications, and it was such a hard decision. And I get, this is film and television and, production, so it's probably different. But what would be your advice to someone who is seeking funding in the film and production space? Because I want to know. I always get I always read the back end notes, and it's always there's a lot of money for social justice.
Yeah.
And all social justice reform, and also environmental films and projects.
Right.
Is that your experience?
That's what I know. Yeah.
Right,
So it's anything
okay.
to do with sustainability and anything to elevate Black and Brown creators. That's the space that I know. That's where
Okay.
I'm actually certified in fundraising for nonprofits or to get these budgets. And so on the creative side, I finally started utilizing it. And I just said, hey, in this year, specifically Q2, I want to be able to use all that knowledge and like, let's get it.
Yeah.
And so as to answer your question about, what are the specifics, I think communicate the original idea. Really communicate the original idea. Study who it is that you are asking funding from. Study who it is.
And also a lot of times people who give funding for projects, they'll have a sort of like a Zoom meeting or a pre-app. Go to that.
Show up. That's what it is. Because they offer
to see you in person.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn your camera on. Let them know. Everybody has a moment to speak, but it's a lot of Zoom meetings. I have not yet in the process been to an in-person meeting yet, but show up to the Zoom meetings, know who's going to be in the room. Let your heart speak, not just the project alone, but let the why, the North Star, the why has to be. And just be yourself, it's because we get into, Lord have mercy. We get into rooms where it's all about social justice and people are really angry, but there's people who want to help and fund these things. And sometimes it's not just we know we're angry. That's why we're here fighting for a cause. But like, sometimes it's okay to lead with love and grace,
Right. And understanding.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want someone to feel good about writing that check now.
Yeah.
Not pissed off or insulted or feeling. Can I just say this? You're watching the Venus Lounge, and I'm your host, Renee Moncada, and I have Leilani Lei Omolo. Did I say it right? Omolo. Damn, Renee.
I'm used to it.
Sound like Sanford and Son. Omondo, messing up people's names. Omolo, the Filipino Momcast, and also CEO of Good Humaning, a nonprofit organization that creates funding opportunities and matches people with grants. So what are you working on now? I know you talked about you had a plant store, rather, that you're opening up, because we love plants, Virgo sisters.
We just love to nurture,
We
right?
do.
It could be a plant, it could be a baby goat, it could be your significant
There's my
other.
Virgo twin
That's
sister,
right.
by the way.
That's right.
We nurture. So tell me about this project and how this is going to kick off.
So my grandparents, I was raised by my grandparents, who immigrated from the Philippines to Cali and Hawaii, and they left me with a green thumb. And so I love to nurture plants, all of them. I like to buy flowers or receive them, but I'm really focused on anything green. And so I will be selling plants, partnering with Flow House Oakland. Flow House is a wellness and movement studio that is in Oakland, on the border of Alameda and Oakland.
So it's a wellness and
movement studio.
What's that?
So they teach all kinds of phenomenal dance classes, like from reggae to reggaeton to
they're not doing Zumba in there, are they?
Nah, no, it's the fun. It's the fun twerking stuff.
No Zumba.
It's the fun stuff. It's choreography, but then they're doing Pilates, yoga, and meditation. Just all the there's going to be Reiki, I think, and then
that hurts. That Reiki hurts.
Yeah, it does.
So Reiki, and so it's movement and wellness, and what else?
And so I will be decorating but selling my plants there. And so my whole angle is that plants are wellness too.
Yes.
Yeah, greenery is wellness too. And so my whole initiative is not just to run a store, but to actually be an interior plant designer. So anyone who wants an urban jungle and you tell me your budget, I will come and deck your house out.
Yes,
your house.
Or you already was looking at my plants. Like,
it's the first thing I see. I'm like, somebody needs love.
Right, girl, my plant is leaning off to the side,
but it's still alive.
It is. Well, and it's interesting watching plants. I've observed, they just give me so much motivation how life works
Ooh.
It gives life. So when one part of the plant is dying, it will take its resources and give it to the other part of the plant
Mhm.
and make it sprout. And so it's just kind of like life, regenerating itself. And I thought the plant was dead, and then I saw a little tiny little, and I was like, and then it sprung up, and then it just kept, and then one died, and every time one died, a stem died, then another one sprung up.
That's life, right? Where there's life, there's
Yeah,
death. And
man.
God prunes us too, gets rid of all the rotten stuff and the stuff that doesn't serve us,
That's
right?
And the soil
And
that
the
you're
soil,
in is
nurture the soil, right?
Let's come on with these
For
metaphors.
real,
Let's go.
because bad soil will not produce good fruit.
So what is? So so what would be your metaphor for like the soil? Say I'm a plant. I'm a flower and I'm blooming in my pot. Hey, and I'm watering. Like, what is the metaphor for the soil? Is that like your community, your foundation?
Oh, that's a good
Water and sun is love. You know what I mean?
It's definitely foundation, because you need to nurture the soil before you put the
Yes,
seed in,
that's
right?
right.
So it is the soil. Nurture the soil.
Nurture the soil.
And then you be intentional about the seed, because
The seed.
everybody plants seeds, you know what I'm saying? But not
Okay.
all seeds produce good fruit.
Ooh, you are right
And
about that.
who is watering that seed? Who's watering that plant?
Right. And what are the feelings that are coming out
Yeah.
as you're watering the plant? Are you
Yeah.
having appreciation? Are you mad because you got to water the plant?
Yeah, it's kind of like for people who eat meat, right? It's like when you learn about grass fed versus whatever,
right,
whatever
grass
other people.
fed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like when the stress that you consume from an animal, like when it is going down, in the
Damn.
circle of life. And so same thing, like if you're gonna grow oranges and apples, like I want the happy farmer.
That's true.
I want the organic farmer. I want the farmer who's
farmer.
like, I love outdoor grown everything.
Yes, so much appreciation for farmers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it takes so long. Just like I'm eating cherries, and I can eat these bowl of cherries in 5 minutes. But how long did it take to grow these cherries and to water them, to pick them? That we take that for granted.
That's why I don't drink almond milk, is because it takes 10 gallons to produce one almond. And I think we take that process for granted. And so I rather put my money to another type of milk, because it's a lot of waste. People take that for granted.
When did you get into plants?
You want to know something? So my grandparents used to leave to the Philippines when I was a teenager, and they would always have me take care of their plants. And so I had to be like 13, I want to say, and taking care of their yard, their plants. And then on my own as a woman, I think mainly, like everyone else did during the pandemic.
I was going to ask that, because the pandemic, why do you think everyone was, gardening and planting? It was a big deal. Like everybody was like going to Home Depot with like carts full of plants and watermelon seeds, and just, what was that?
It was the fear. It was the fear that .gov put in us, like we're going to run out of supply. You won't be able to wipe your body because we're going to have a shortage of toilet paper. Like, come on.
Do you think that's a rational fear or an irrational fear?
I think that this world is doing strange things. And so no matter what the form of fear is from society or just, a personal thing, I'm like far removed from, do I think that's a rational fear? I think it's a faith thing. I really think it's a faith thing. But
what do you mean it's a faith thing?
It's a faith thing. Like if there's people that I know, or like myself, like if I were to go tomorrow, am I worried about the fear of running out of toilet paper and resources? Nah, no. It's because I know, like, it's a personal connection to my level of my faith. And so do I have faith that we're still going to have resources for the next decade? Sure, I do. Am I right with myself, my family, and God? Sure, I am. I'm good to go. So I'm not really focused on the area of, is that I didn't even know that, 20 years ago, I didn't think we would be able to talk on the phone and see each other. So I think anything can happen.
But that's different than like running out of resources. Because I was just watching the news, not the news, but on the radio or on the internet. I can't remember where I was watching, but I was looking at this situation in Philly with the water crisis there and some contamination in the water,
oh my gosh,
and just how everyone was panicking. And I was just like, okay, first of all, I'm gonna drive to the next town. I'm gonna order some water from Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, are these people just not thinking? Because why would you run towards the fear and chaos
Exactly.
and not go the other way? Like, I'm going to the nearest river. I'm going
because you
or
got
the
faith and knowledge. That's what it is.
Right. I'm going to Amazon and just order me a few cases. Like, why are these people drawn to the chaos at Walmart and everyone clamoring for water? So that's the faith thing.
Yeah, it's your faith and understanding, because but see, that's also who you are as a person. You're like who Virgos are, right? We're like logistical, we're
resourceful,
very resourceful.
My family's gonna eat.
Yeah,
we're gonna always have the basics.
Yeah, always
food, clothing, shelter, and love.
Yeah, that's that part.
Yeah,
that part.
Yes,
and I, even when I don't think about providing those things, it's just who we are designed to be as Virgos, as mothers, as lovers. That's just how we do. I don't like to see my loved ones without. We don't live in lack, and if we do, it's in here.
Absolutely. And as that giver, nurturer, do you have challenges with making sure you get what you need before everyone else does?
Every day, all day. That is my problem. That
Me
is
too.
my problem. It's like I've been told all the time from pastors, prayer warriors, like burn the wick, not the oil. We're supposed to be operating out the oil, and I'm learning that balance to, like, why am I so burnt out? Why am I giving? Like, it's time for me to, and I don't even see it as being selfish. It's just like, slow down, allow to be taken care of.
Do you feel you deserve it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on. Absolutely. Yes. I think I have to allow it. I have to accept it. I have to receive it. I have to be open. Because I don't know about you, but have you ever been told, like, oh, it's a control thing?
No, but now that you put it that way,
I don't see it like that.
I see it for me as I have a tremendous amount of blessings, I guess you would say, or luck, or I just
blessings.
Don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
And so I operate from a mindset of abundance.
There you go.
And manifestation.
There you go.
Appreciation, gratitude. And so I just feel like I will never be without. And so, I think I'm operating from that, why it's just so easy to give. However, I will have to say that I do and have created more boundaries about who I give to. My husband always tells me this, you have to be more selective about who you let in and who you give to, Renee. And so, so it doesn't matter how frequently it comes or how blessed you are. It's just, those resources, you just have to be more careful about who you give that to. So,
and thank you for that reminder. Yeah, now that's the point of good humaning. I'm not going to move forward and continue to pour without watering my garden first.
There you go.
First. And so I'm practicing that right now. But yeah, absolutely. That's been my personal weakness, is to, like, because of that though, I know that I live in abundance. I know that love is, love first, abundance follows, provisions follow. Like, that's just how I feel, in my spirit, in my gut, of all of it. And so, but I think it would be nice to pause and receive.
Let's read some comments. Pause and receive. Ooh. Receive.
Let's go.
Hi, Talia. Hey, Thomas. Good combo. Hey, Kim Wilson. He said, good one. Talia says, would you say having a farm is part of your controlling your access to your resources?
I love her.
Is that for me or is that for...
I don't got a farm.
Okay. To hedge against the food shortage or simpler crisis. I just feel like, why let all this go to waste? And I just hate going to the grocery store, buying sage and buying tomatoes, and I'm living on 2 acres. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I tried farming on my land, but it's a lot of work. And if I was going to do that, I would just have to be doing that. And I'm just not ready in this part of my life to do it. But I have had meetings with people who I'd want to come and co-opt the land and stuff like that. It just hasn't worked out yet. But I just hate to see it go to waste. We live on a south facing slope. There's plenty of sun.
Yeah.
We have water resources around, and so I'm just like, why not? And during the pandemic, I grew watermelons, and they were just so delicious and lush, but we had time, right? Because we were home, so we were growing everything as everyone was. And then the next year, I tried it, and I didn't have the time to put in it, and it wasn't as prosperous. So I think it just has to go with me utilizing the resources that we have.
Let's plant a tropical garden.
Let's do it.
I'm not playing. I'm talking about
girl.
Banana trees. There's like a place where you could let me propagate that whole land.
Man, I can't believe that not one fruit tree was planted on the property. There's some trees up there, but not one fruit tree, not even a lemon tree, not an orange tree. And we've tried to plant in certain parts of the yard, but I think it's the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we have to
for sure.
We have to nurture the soil.
You got to break the ground.
Yeah. Yes.
You got to break the ground.
Yes.
Ooh, it's so crazy, right? How you said you observe the plant and watch how it pulls from its resources in order to recreate or reproduce.
The watermelons taught me a lot too, because I watched how the watermelons grew. It took a long time for I kept checking every day to see if I saw anything, and I just stopped paying attention to it and it started growing. So it was like, oh, faith, because I just kept watering it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, faith.
Yeah, do your part.
And then I kept watering it, and then little tiny leaves and flowers. I was like, okay, hope,
Mm-hmm.
And then they started connecting to each other, and I was like, community, right? So the ones that were growing with each other were growing, and the ones that were growing apart died, right? Yeah. And so then and then they just started twining together more and more, like the vines started twining around each other, and then they just took off with sun and light.
And that's the same exact it applies to us, that exact principle. We need water, we need light, we need community, we need rest, we need need to prune the parts that are going away, right? And that are leaving us, and it's all the same. That circle of life, it applies. It's simple. It's us. The human experience can get diluted by the stuff we receive or accept in our eyes and our ears. And so being intentional, having boundaries, all those things, keeping I don't want to say circle small, but keeping it intentional, And so I will tell you right now, Renee, I learned so much, from near or far. I see how much grace and peace you lead with, and I really, really respect and love that about you.
Thank you.
Because I know we had this conversation early on. Is people act funny in the game, and I'm not that. I'm just not that. Life happens, life, people, and as long as we can communicate that. But you are so consistent. Your energy is consistent. There's not a lot of people like you in the game. I'll show up whenever I can for you, and it's just, I'm happy to see you doing what you want to do.
Thank you. I appreciate
you are
that.
A good human.
Thank you. I try very hard.
I'm going to bless you with a good human jean jacket.
Okay? I will humbly accept it.
Yeah.
Speaking of good humans, you have two good humans that you're also raising at home.
Three.
Your three daughters.
Daughters.
3 daughters. I only met 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is that going? The last time I came over, one had an attitude and the other was doing something.
Oh, it's worse. It's worse. 3.
How old are they?
18, 15, 14.
Oh my
About
God.
to be 16. But they think they know everything. They think I'm an alien. They think I'm a square. Yeah, and it's just what I learned. What I learned was that I just have to listen. I have to listen to why their ideas work when they don't.
You do have to listen,
You
though.
have to
Yeah.
listen.
Do
Yeah.
they listen to you?
When I listen to them,
Mm.
yeah, that's it. But for the most part, no, no.
They all are at home, right?
Yeah, yeah. They
Wow.
are. They are a lot of work, and by God's grace, I'm doing it. I am a single mom, and so I am the head of house. I'm the provider, and
Wow.
I'm telling you, by the grace of God, because I'm not working a 9 to 5. So who I do work with really matters, because it's going to be something consistent, or like I said, I prefer to do things more longer term, and it's just energy to pour into those relationships. But they're going to have to know the fact that I am a mom. I want to be able to be myself, you know.
You are, and I know you've come here a few times and we've talked, pretty deep on some things. I just want to say, being a single mom and handling some of the things you told me, like, you are doing it. Having your daughters and handling that all by yourself and still being creative. I don't even know how you do it. Like, I have my help, my husband. I could not even imagine having three daughters and doing it on your own, talking about grace and consistency.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, it is. Let's say it's taken a lot of prayer. I pray so much over my kids. I pray so much over my sanity. It's taken a lot of uh, ritual and consistent prayer warriors praying over me. It's taken that community, and
Well,
that's all faith, because I look at what I've been able to sustain. I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I
yeah.
pay all the bills. I
Mhm.
feed. I also took in my niece, so I have 4 teenagers at my home, and then I have another niece who helps out with my kids, but she occasionally sometimes stays too. So I have 4 teenagers, one 25-year-old who's in and out, who's helping, and then me. But I pay every single bill, and I feed everybody. I pay all the phone bills. I make sure that they still have a life too and a relationship with their father. And yeah. So yes, it's time for me to receive.
It's time to receive. Do they work?
My eldest is starting her first retail job this weekend.
Okay.
But
But the 14 and 15-year-olds,
nah,
no.
nah.
Yeah.
I'm having them focus on school. But they want to
Okay.
work, and so I'm gonna have them work for the plants, for the plant shop. My Oh yeah, by the way, my plant brand is called Native Plant House.
Native plant house.
Native Plant House, yeah.
And I want to talk about that, but back to the mothering, mother of three daughters and one niece. What is the biggest challenge?
Ooh, ooh. What is the biggest challenge? Social media.
Mm,
Social media. I mean, what I love
mm, mm,
about
mm.
giving these girls their voice, they definitely are bold. But I'm trying to teach them that bold is not rebellion,
Or
and
disrespect.
yeah, or disrespect, because
You want them to express, but there needs to be
yeah,
a level of respect.
yeah. And I learned that when I'm soft, that they're more loving towards me. But when I'm defiant and when I act like a pit bull to them, then I get disrespect too. But the hardest part is social media, because there's random things that they will see and ask questions about, or I don't know. It's social media. This generation is a little bit different though. They're very
Mm,
different. They're impatient. They're extremely impatient. That's the part. That's the challenge. Even beyond social media, it is the attention span and the patience. Yeah,
the attention span.
yeah.
I'd like to reintroduce Leilani Lei, my guest today, CEO of Good Humaning, and also co-host of the Filipino Momcast, mother of 3+1, single mother of 3+1. Damn, a photographer, green thumber.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenges you said of motherhood for you is social media.
It's
Was
the
it
attention span and patience.
So what do you mean, like their attention span?
Yeah, they can't sit through. I'm like, hold on, like let me share information with you, and they're just like, hurry up, or like
Right,
that.
because
Just
everything is so instant.
yes.
Do you think it's a big part of why our children having anxiety?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
think
so too.
it's crazy because I could catch myself scrolling for too long. And then
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
Put this down.
yeah, it's a digital dopamine is real. And I could be better.
And also the
The EMFs,
yeah, coming off the phone.
we don't need that.
We
We
don't.
don't need that. And it's going to be double the strength. And I won't say anything about all that, but
Right.
it's not good for us.
So why do you do it? What makes you get up every day? What makes you just be like, okay? Because I would sometimes, even with help, I'm like, all right, let me get up. You know.
I will say this, right? I understand. I understand why people just say I can't do it anymore.
Right.
I understand, and that is the realest thing that I could say. But why do I do it? Because I love the sun. I love morning. I'm a morning person, an annoying morning person. Every day is a celebration. No,
right.
I wake up, I'm like, my eyes open. I'm like, yes, we get to party again. But I'm a morning person now. I love life. And the honest truth is that I'm just trying to break a generational cycle. You know, where my grandma experienced something and it had to stop. My mom experienced something and it had to stop. And so, as combative as my kids are, I'm in the part that I needed to be.
What do you mean experience something?
Like, so I'm talking about my grandmother, my mom both come from a cycle of abuse. And so
physical abuse,
physical, verbal, you know, my grandmother was in the Philippines. And so she watched her mom get abused by her dad. And so where she left with this whole grudge where she didn't even go to his funeral until this very day as she's experiencing mental health issues. My grandmother is still alive, my last one, my mom's mom, who I was raised by. I buried the other 3 grandparents. I buried them. So I got to see them live and I got to see them pass or transition. And so as I'm watching her suffer from her mental ailments, she's still holding on to who hurt her. And so, you know, doing the work, I saw that trickle down to my mother, who's still alive. My mother's only 60 years old, you know, and so I saw that trickle down to me at a very early age. And so, in the things that I have been working through in therapy since I was 15 years old, I am learning how to teach my kids so that part can break off, you know? And so, that is a why for me. But I just, no matter how hard life gets, I still love living. I still love living, and it's because of that creative side of me. It's like, oh, I want to make things pretty. I want to make things accessible. I want to make things comfortable. I want people to feel love.
Yeah,
you know,
which is central to the theme of this podcast.
Yeah.
How do you, you know, as a mother, as a woman or a wife, or you know, living life with generations of trauma or experiences that have been passed down on you voluntarily and involuntarily, and still having to function, but finding some kind of creative purpose to, I guess, heal the trauma. Yeah.
That's exactly what the Love You Project was about.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you know, what did you come with? Before I would shoot all these women, I would say, like, who hurt you?
Shoot as in photograph.
Yeah, shoot as in photograph. Capture. Yeah, I would ask, who hurt you? What was the past? Like, what are we doing? Like, what am I pulling out of you? I like to talk when I shoot. And the whole idea is like to exchange energy and information. And then when they see themselves, like how you're going to see yourself, you know, you're gonna be like, dang, that's me. I'm fine. You know, you already know that. Right?
Sometimes, you know, the mirror, I don't even like looking in the mirror because it's just deceptive. Some days I'll catch a glimpse. I'm like, okay, you all right, girl. And other days I'm like, damn.
But isn't it just, I don't know.
You need to go somewhere, girl. Go to sleep.
Yeah. That part, go to sleep. That's my
go lay down.
So, yeah. I said that today. I went to the store. I took a shower, deep condition. I looked in the mirror. I was like, why I still look like I didn't shower and I look homeless? Like, what happened?
I think it's the sun.
Yeah.
I feel like I need sun.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
we all need to get back outside.
Yeah.
And that's another part with good humaning. Come on, like, let's reconnect and engage with one another again, because we are uncoviding our brain, you know, like from the pandemic, you know, and being shelter in place and all that. Like, let's go outside. And it's so, I love being at home now. I
know, me
love
too.
being. I never, ever, ever
Me
was a
too.
homebody. I never
Me
was.
either.
But now I just want to
Me
be
too.
inside.
So what's the goal for good humaning? What's the goal?
That's a great question. The long-term goal is I would like to be able to fund. I would like to use tech money to fund everybody's project.
Mhm.
That's what I want to do. I want to
Mhm.
utilize all the excess tech money and fund Black and brown stories, Black and brown businesses. I want people to get bold about their healing journey and talk about it. Like that's another thing where my heart is for sure is talking about, because all of us have been hurt by someone, and
Yes.
there's no hurt is hurt. Pain is pain. So
Yeah.
whether it was someone took your first love in their kindergarten and you haven't recovered from
Yeah.
that, like pain is pain. And so I want people to get free from all of that. And so you want to tell it in a film, you want to tell it through photography, like holler at me.
Holler at your girl. So what do you think is the key to freedom? Not in the physical sense, but just
That's a great question.
yeah, spiritually free. What do you think is the key?
It's a process. So I think the first part is forgiveness. Forgiveness and surrender. It comes in this like this trio. It's like forgiveness, surrender, being activated to move in faith. Right? It's because you could forgive, and
that's a hard one.
It is
Forgiving
so.
because you feel like you're that person or that thing is winning,
yeah,
but it's
Yeah.
not.
no. But if you love yourself enough, right, then it's like it's not about that person anymore. It's about like wanting to sleep well at night. It's about wanting to go into the next level of your life, the next
Yeah.
season, you know? Because if you still are reflecting on like, oh yeah, but I remember this time when so and so did this, like why are we holding on to that? Like you know what they say, forgiveness is for you, not them.
For not. Do you believe that we can sometimes hold things that don't even belong to us? You know, for example, you're talking about your mom and her mom.
DNA is a MF.
It is,
It
right?
is.
It has
is.
memory too.
Yeah. Just like muscle has memory. Ooh. Yeah. We definitely carry things that, and I didn't, I learned this as I became a mother. I learned this. I was like, ugh, because growing up, I never want to be like my mom. And
right, nobody wants to be like
nobody. I have not yet met a woman that's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be my mom.
Actually, there's a couple that I know, 2 women who just have a super close relationship with their mother, and they are like best friends, and they do everything together. And I admire it. I'm like, you really love your mom. She's just like, yes, I do everything with my mom. I'm like, is that normal? Is that healthy? Or like, is that weird?
It's
You're not supposed to like be hanging with your mom like that. I mean, I don't know. That's just me.
I feel you.
Am I being cynical?
No, I don't know that I'm with you. I'm on your side. I'm like, what?
Just like, how y'all just gonna be hanging out like that? You don't have any friends? Your mom didn't have any friends?
Yeah, I was like, you're gonna take your mom to that party? Like, what?
Right.
That's weird to me. Sorry. No hate, no cap. Like,
right.
It's just not me. That's it. I'm not hating on that.
It ain't my thing. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a good question. So it's forgiveness, surrender, and then walking in faith towards your purpose. But
what is your purpose? Do you know?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What is it?
Is to teach people about love. I swear to it all. To Buddha, Aliyah, Allah, Nas, Jesus Christ.
Say it, girl.
Come on, I'm telling you right now. No, shabupa labupi for real though. I'm telling you, it is to show people that God's love is shabupa labupi. That was in the hyphy movement.
Oh, shabupa labupi.
I think it was Mr. Fab. Shabupa labupi.
I've never heard that. Shabupa labupi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I swear. I think that was like his hood way of praying in tongues or something. I don't know. But yeah, my purpose here is to teach people about love. It really is. It really is. I'm such a like my nickname.
And so what does that look like? To teach people love?
It looks like forgiveness.
Okay.
It looks like surrender.
Okay.
It looks like grace. It looks like peace that surpasses all understanding. It looks like trying again. It looks like extending grace to yourself. It looks like taking care of your body. It looks like nurturing your mind, but guarding it,
girl.
you know, like, all the things. And I love it. I love it. I love that vein.
Oh my
I love
God.
it so much that I
love
have to learn to protect myself.
Yes.
But I have been prophesied over many times to where I'm going to spread the word about love in the most untraditional ways. You know, what is love? What is not lust? What is love? What is respect? What is disrespect? What is love? Like tying people back to, you know, and learning to love people through their hurt, learning to love myself.
Right. Meaning like not loving people just when they show up looking nice and shiny and being how you want them to be.
Loving people when they're broken.
Yeah.
You know, forgiving people when they're broken, forgiving ourselves, forgiving ourselves for not knowing what we didn't know. Ooh, Lord, I just recently spoke on a panel for lead Filipino at San Jose City College, and I told exactly this. And this is my vein. Like and the reason why I say this, how much time do we have? I'm gonna give you a couple minutes. Okay. So the reason why I say this is because, one, you asked, why do I do it every day? Because one, I love life. I do. I love music. I love food.
Me too.
I love it.
We've had some good times. We got to get back out.
Yes. I love music.
Just having a good time.
I love the arts. You know, I'm stimulated from the outside.
Visuals.
Yeah. I'm visual.
People.
So yeah, all those things. I like to learn. But I say all this to say is that when I was younger, so I'm a product of divorce, right? And so raised by my grandparents, still rekindling the relationship with my mother. My mother didn't know what to do with me as a teenager, so she sent me away to the Philippines. That's such a traditional thing in the Filipino household, to be like, it's either two threats. I'm going to cut your hair off, you're going to be bald, or I'm going to send you to the Philippines. They sent me to the Philippines. They didn't know what to do to me. What happened in the Philippines, I was 15 years old. I ended up getting held captive, raped, stuck there for 5 months, and trying to tell my mom what was happening without telling my mom what was happening. Long story short, she heard enough of my cries. I was released. There was a lot of money laundering and some BS behind that. And so I'm saying all this to say that when I got back, it was God that took me at age 15 to go find therapy.
And you're still smiling.
And I'm still in therapy. Okay. But I also got into the church. So that's what it is. So, and then I help lead women through all these things. Yeah. And I'm still,
you're qualified to do that.
Yeah. So I got into ministry. I got into Christian non-denominational ministry, and to keep it simple, to learn about restoration, learn about conflict resolution, learn about like loving yourself. And I still have my battles. You know, I'm still human. Still battling.
Do you look at yourself as a victim in that regard?
Not anymore. Not anymore. I did. Yeah. I did when I was younger and going through things, but
like,
not anymore.
Why me?
When I was younger, now it was just like, no, I mean, because there's things that are, you could be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Nah. When I was young, it was a why me. But as I, learned through the church and some amazing women behind me who've poured into me,
Did you have resentment towards your mother for sending you there? Did you feel like it was her fault?
Ooh, shaboopalaboopy. Yes, absolutely. And I'm still, I can only say that I've forgiven or released that resentment prior to the pandemic.
Why?
Because the hard times of, anytime things got hard with raising my daughters, I just thought about like, man, I can easily, what am I going to do? Send them away, but seeing, I will not lie though, everything that made sense to why my mom made decisions with the little resources that she had, I understand them now and I forgive them now. I've been in her shoes now.
So it sounds like you got to know your mom for just a person and not your mom.
Yeah.
And then you forgave her for the decision that she made.
Yeah. And that took some.
Were you able to find purpose? It sounds like through that experience, or was it just you had no other choice?
Purpose through it. I really want to like just buy this big old Sprinter van, and I want to save women and like really get them in that place and get them off the streets and stuff like that, or out of like. But I see the purpose. Have I done it yet? Not
Right.
100%.
Yeah, you see
know?
the end, the
Yeah,
end road, but
yeah.
how to get there, you're still figuring
I'm
that
still
out. That's
figuring
fine.
out because I'm still figuring it out for me.
Right.
And so I can't extend to do that, to meet that vision just yet because I'm still learning things through myself and through my flaws and through swallowing my pride and letting go of things that don't serve me. I'm still doing it. It's a practice and it's hard. It's hard work. I call it heart work.
Heart work.
Yeah. So
I
do
like
the
that.
heart work,
Do the heart work.
Yeah.
The heart work. Well, I appreciate you being here. I feel honored that you shared some of those intimate details with me, that you trust me enough to share that.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too. I appreciate you sharing that. And I think it's important for other women to hear that we can be here to help heal each other. I think once we really start talking, we all can share some of the traumas that we've gone through, and how we like kind of make our way through life, but there's still reasons to smile. There's still reasons to celebrate and help other people through whatever it is that they're going through. So I appreciate you coming here today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. And so with what you just said, I want to highlight that, when you find support or you find that tribe, make sure that you identify that it's not trauma bonding. Make sure that you find people that are like, well, then let's help you overcome that.
Right.
Well, then
how
let's
can
get
we
you.
support that?
Yeah. How can I support you? What's the resource? I'm going to check on you, because some friends will allow friends to remain the same.
Yes.
Mentors will call you higher, and it's going to be uncomfortable, just like coaches.
Yeah.
And so, but you can have that sisterhood that can do those things, but you need to be able to.
I need a sisterhood. I already know.
You got me.
I need a sisterhood.
You got me.
So I appreciate that. That, like I always say, behind every good man is a good woman. Behind every woman is another woman. And that's just what I go. That's just my motto. We know how we operate, but it just makes me a better mother, sister, a better human.
You're a good human, Renee.
Good humans around me, and I just appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Venus Lounge, a podcast dedicated to working women and mothers, centralizing our creativity through our purpose. And we will see you next week. Make sure you follow us on KPFA 94.1 on Facebook and Instagram, and KPFA Radio at Twitter, YouTube, Twitch TV, and now also TikTok. Thank y'all for watching. I love y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll see you next week here at the Venus Lounge. All right. That was good. I said I'll see y'all next week. Y'all want to stay? This is